So, okay, everybody that complained and moaned and just absolutely flailed about after the Bills lost in the divisional round in the American Football Conference playoffs in Kansas City because Kansas City forced overtime, won the toss, marched down the field, and scored a touchdown, that you wanted overtime rules to change to make sure both teams get at least one possession in overtime. Not fair that Josh Allen did not get a chance to get back out on the field, not just in terms of the competition, but just in terms of denying all of us football-loving people who are loving the game and loving the action and seeing how Allen unstoppable he was, that it was a shame. And that's happened before. The number of times you've seen all-time great quarterbacks just sit there on the bench and watch the game end, and that was back in the day where just a mere field goal would end it. Well, you all got your way. You all got your way because the league just changed overtime rules only for the playoffs. They have accepted the proposal from the Colts and the Eagles. Together, they got together, joined forces, and said, let's make this change. Final vote, apparently 29-3. 29-3 is the final vote. I would have been the fourth vote. I don't like it.
Why don't you like it?
Because we don't know what the unintended consequences are, and now we're going to find out. We're going to find out in the playoffs because it's not going to be done for the regular season. Apparently, the owners were going to say, we're not voting if you make this a full season thing. But just for the playoffs, we're in. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Right. So why is that not good for the regular season too? I don't understand it. So we're going to find out in the most watched, most intense, most serious consequences of a win or loss that you can get in the NFL. We're going to find out in that cauldron what the unintended consequences are. And here are the unintended consequences. Now the coin toss that you feel that decides everything, even though it didn't in the AFC Championship game 1 week after the Chiefs won the coin toss, took the ball, and won the game, causing the furor. 1 week after that, don't forget, Chiefs had overtime forced on them. Mm-hmm. They didn't have the momentum, but did get the coin toss, go their way, got the ball first, and the other team stopped them. And won and made the Super Bowl. Almost won it, too. Let's not forget now, the unintended consequence is going to be the coin toss that decides everything. Now, the team that wins it is going to want the ball second. I would do that. I want to know exactly what I got to do to win.
Yeah.
I want to know exactly what I got to do to win it. Because you get the ball first. It's 4th and 2 from your own 40-yard line. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to punt it. Let's say it's 4th and 5. Let's do it even better. 4th and 5 from your own 40-yard line. You get the ball first. This isn't a game where there's not just 15 minutes and it's a tie, or 10 minutes and it's a tie. This thing goes on. What are you going to do in the playoffs? Win or go home, 4th and 5 from your own 40. What are you going to do? You're going to go for it and then let the other team just get one first down, kick a field goal, and go home? No, you're not going to do that. You're going to punt it. You're going to play defense. That's what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. And then the other team gets it. Now they wind up having an opportunity to just merely win it. That's damn straight. I'll take that. How about this one? Team that gets the ball first scores a touchdown. Now we get to see what we all want to see, or most of America wanted to see. Team that gets it second has a chance. Mm-hmm. In previous years, you'll hear the announcers. Previous years, this game would have been over. Let's see what happens here. Now it's 4th and 5 from your own 40. What are you going to do? Punt it? Of course not. Nope. Game would be over. You're going for it. Yeah. You're going for it. 4th down from your own 8, your own 18, your own 48, from the other team's 38, from the other team's 8, from the other team's 18. So it's a totally different set of circumstances as the team that gets it second than the team that gets it first. And now there's going to be all sorts of complaints. Well, of course they went for it because they knew they had to go win it. And that's what I would take the ball second. I'm already seeing on Twitter, you know what teams are going to do? They're going to go for it. When they win, when they get the ball first, they're going to go for a 2-point conversion and win it. That would have been the Titans' rule. They're going to go for. I'm already seeing that they're going to go for 2 to make sure the other team, if they get the ball back, they will have to go for 2 for the win.
But you're also putting yourself in a position where all you have to do is
kick the
extra point.
You know what's not going to happen? That. I'm already seeing. I think Pelissero, my colleague from the NFL media group, he already tweeted out that he's hearing coaches predicting that whoever gets the ball first scores a touchdown. They're going to go for 2 to make it more difficult for the other team. You go for 2 and you miss it, and the other team scores a touchdown. By the way, going for it every single time. It's a 4-down situation. Every single time it's a first down, which is not the circumstance for the team that gets the ball first. That team goes and scores a touchdown and kicks a mere 33-yard extra point and wins it. Hey, coach, why'd you go for 2? Well, we had the momentum. Well, we just wanted to force the other team to do it. Well, now you lost. Now we're out. Now our whole season's over. Yeah. That's never going to happen. And then maybe, just maybe, another team scores a touchdown to start, kicks the extra point. The other team gets it second, having the benefit of knowing they got to keep going for it. They get all the way down there, and they feel that their defense is going to get beat. We'll go for 2. And they score the 2 and win it. Or they go for 2 and don't, and the season's over. We'll be talking about that for quite some time, and that does make things more interesting. I know people will say the unintended consequences I'm complaining about makes it more interesting, puts more on the line for coaches. I just think that this is such a rarity that I would just let it go the way it goes. Or hold on a minute before you chime in here, and we've got the whole rest of the show to talk about it. I think Tom Pelissero will join us from the owners meeting middle of the next hour after we have Michael. Wait, by the way, we've got an NFL player strolling out here in just a mere second, and Michael Brockers.
Interested to see what he thinks about it.
It would be interesting to see what he thinks about it. I'm just trying to be consistent here because, I'm trying to change the rule of ball gets fumbled through the end zone and it benefits the defense.
The Eisen rule.
And the number of people are like, why change it? It's such a rarity. And now here I am saying, why change it? It's such a rarity. Because I feel this is going to change the way that overtime is conducted, but not change the ultimate problem that people have with this, is that the coin toss decides it. Chiefs win the toss this time around under these rules. Do you think they take the ball first?
No.
I don't know if they do. Andy might sit there and go, well, they're on their heels. I want to score a touchdown when I can, and then we'll play defense. But I'd also just want to know, because the team that gets the ball first will have to have the concept of, do we score a touchdown once we get in the 20? How aggressive should we be? We should at least take the 3, because the other team's going to have a chance to win. Or do we punt because we can potentially come away with nothing here, or we've got to go for it because we can't come away with nothing the way that they're playing. And that sort of set of circumstances for the team that gets the ball first, the other team that gets it second has none of that. None of that, because they know what they have to do.
Yeah.
So I win the toss, I want it second. And so the coin toss in my mind still is somewhat as decisive as it gets right now. We don't know how less or more decisive it will be. And guess what? We're going to find out in the playoffs, because they didn't do this in the regular season. It's weird that they won't want to have it in the regular season. Like, use that as a test, or go in the preseason. They're not even going to have overtime. That's dumb. Yeah. We're not going to play extra football when you don't want anybody to get hurt.
They don't want to be out there anyway.
Let's see it in the regular season. You're going to wait till the playoffs to figure out what the unintended consequence is going to be.
Rich, what happens?
Whole country watching?
What happens when one team A, gets the ball first, goes down, scores a touchdown?
Yeah.
All right, now Team B, they come down, not going to go for 2. We score a touchdown, going to kick the extra point. Right. Then what happens? We just keep doing this until the time runs out? Then
it'll be sudden death
at that point. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, was that your idea initially? You talked about it earlier this week, where the first coin flip of the game.
Correct.
Then was that your idea? Or was
No,
that
it was a
someone else's?
caller called in and said
Okay.
that the first coin flip of the game doesn't just decide who gets the ball at the beginning of the first and second halves. It should also wind up deciding who gets it to start overtime. And thus the randomness of the coin flip is
Kinda
just
taken
happens at the very beginning, and you know who gets the ball when for the rest of the day.
I like
as
that.
opposed to resetting it after 60 minutes have been played and all the blood, sweat, and tears have been spilled. And it also adds a little extra to, the coin flip at the beginning of the game. Or if you win the coin flip at the beginning of the game, you all and have the right to have the ball and defer.
Mm-hmm.
That is also now your right after the regulation is over, and then you decide then and there, well, it's my decision. I'm going to take it second. I'm going to take it first.
And that's also so simple. There's no question. There's no, wow, I didn't get that.
So there's two ways to play it, where the coin flip is you defer to the second. You win it, you defer to the second half because you like having the ball to start the second half, and you can score on each side of halftime, right? You like that. But you've now given up the ball to start the game, and you're now giving up the ball to start overtime. So you want to start the game maybe now. You don't want to defer to start the second half. I want to start the game here to have in my back pocket in the playoffs. I want to have the ball to start in the overtime. Or I want to defer because I like that, because I want to defer once I have overtime too.
Man, I guess that's why these coaches make the big money, right?
Well, now they're going to be making a lot of big money in figuring out who's the first coach to have the unintended consequence. First two to figure out these new overtime rules in the playoffs. Wild stuff, man. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.